The way disability has traditionally been looked at is called the medical model. So disability actually comes about, the actual concept of disability comes about from the idea that people are damaged, they're unable to work. It comes from the old workhouse system, in fact. People were categorised as being invalids, invalid, because they weren't able to work. And the medical model actually looks at what is actually wrong with the people who are disabled, what impairment they've got, how that's caused, gives it a long Latin name, and prescribes some kind of treatment which will alleviate or not the disability concerned. It's still very much the way society operates as regards disability. We don't use that model, or we try to challenge it at all times. As non-disabled staff, I don't think it's actually possible for us to work constructively with our students if we're using that model at all. So we use the social model of disability. The social model of disability is completely different. It comes from disabled people themselves, and what it says is, I am what I am. I was born as I am, and I have equal rights to any of the rest of you. The reason I'm not getting the same opportunities and not living the same kind of life as you are is because of you. And yes, that's a very clear and logical way of looking at disability, and it's a very true way, because ultimately the more you look at the experiences of our young people, the more you realise that what's preventing them getting on is really the reaction of society to them as people. For us, starting a study programme, it represented a huge change, and a lot of the impacts we didn't anticipate. The biggest area of change, I think, is just on the use of resources. In this institution, we've gone from mainly having part-time courses, a couple of hours a lesson, seeing students once a week, to having students here all day, every day, very intensive. That has a knock-on effect on all sorts of things. Not least the amount of admin that needs to be done, the number of phone calls that are coming into the building, particularly as these are young people with complex needs. I mean, one of the things is we're no longer just tutors. We spend a lot of the time on the phone, a lot of the time dealing with parents, with other agencies, transport, all of those kinds of things. But also, of course, it does impact on the rest of the college, because the existing infrastructure becomes overloaded. One thing, just interestingly, is that we have a coffee bar, and it used to cater for X students, now it caters for X plus 40. We've had to change the time of our lunch hour so that we're not at the same time as the rest of the students. The other thing I would say as well is that because of the impact that you have on the entire institution, the impact that the study programme is going to have on the entire institution, it's not just your own staff that you have to be mindful of. You have to be mindful of the staff that you're sharing the building with, and really you need to be bringing them along with you, and I think we didn't do that so well actually to begin with. So it's only when problems started to occur that we've realised, of course, actually it's how, you know, other people are teaching in this building. So that's something to be aware of, and to be thinking of solutions in advance. Just having a look, think, what will it mean having an extra 40 or so, or however many you plan, people in this building, with additional health needs, with additional social needs. Also, because in a study programme you take on responsibility for where they go afterwards. You'll never, until it happens, you'll never actually get it right. You will always underestimate the work that's there. I can tell you that for sure. And each additional person seems to exponentially increase the amount of work, because it's not just their own needs, but it's the way that they and their needs impact on the other people in the student body and the wider college.